Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Intuitive Gems. My name is Desiree, and I will be doing your money, wealth, finance, prosperity, abundance reading for the month of June 2020. I hope you all are staying well. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you all so much for your kind, sweet messages about the passing of my sweet dog, Bentley. She was 14, almost 15 years old, and we had to put her down on May 1st. She was having heart trouble, and she also was having seizures, and we did everything we could to keep her, but I think it was just finally her time. So again, I want to say thank you all, because your kind messages and your positive energy was very, very helpful during that very emotional time. Let's see. Oh, I want to share with you guys. I have partnered with the creator of a tarot deck, and it's a new to me deck. It's called the Original Tarot, and it's a beautiful deck, very vibrant, very colorful. The cardstock is very high quality. It's got a linen finish, shuffles beautifully, and I wanted to share about this particular deck because a lot of you asked me, what decks I use for the readings, and I try to make sure that I always link them for you in the description in case you are interested. So let me show you. This is the box here. It's called the Original Tarot. It is Rider-Waite based, and like I said, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. I've been working with it now for about a month and a half, and I really like it. I'm very connected to it, and I find it easy to use, especially if you're just learning how to get started with tarot cards. So that's what we're going to be using for the readings for June. I will clarify with my Radiant Rider-Waite tarot deck, as I always do. And then, Sagittarius, I will close out your reading with a Spirit Animal Oracle card. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and get into your reading. Now, if this is your first time catching one of my readings, I do want to say welcome, and I invite you to subscribe, because I do these readings each and every month, and I would love to share your money message with you. You will also notice that I do read jumper cards, meaning that as I shuffle, sometimes you will see cards literally fly out of the deck, or cards will flip over. Those are the cards that I choose to pay attention to, because I do believe they are communicating something specific. Okay, let's go ahead and get right into it, Sagittarius. So what do we need to know for the sign of Sagittarius as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of June 2020? We've got quite an array of cards here. And it looks like, Sagittarius, you're going to be feeling all over the place. Things are going to be a little up and down. You're going to be very emotional. You could be having some, I want to say there could be some personal things going on that affect your money and your financial life. And I say that because I'm looking at these cards here. But then when I look at these first three cards, I can see that things are going to start off well. Things are definitely going to start, I guess, taking hold, taking shape. Now, let's look at these two cards here. We have the Four of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Cups. Now, Four of Pentacles, this is all about holding on, being very scrupulous with your money, maybe being a little overly cautious. And I think that's fair, and I think that's, quote, normal, considering the climate that we're in right now with our economy. Now, we also have the Wish card here. Now, this means there's something you've been waiting for, hoping for, working towards, Sagittarius, and you're going to start seeing signs of it show up at the beginning of June. This is very exciting. But as we move through the first week of June, We have the Chariot here, which means even though some of the things that you're waiting for start showing up, they could start coming through very, very slowly. Now, we also have nostalgia. We also have a relationship from the past that could be showing back up. Now, the reason why I think you're going to be having some personal, maybe some personal chaos even, because we have someone showing up from our past, someone that we've got an emotional tie to, and then we have the Tower, and then we have the Three of Swords. Now, when I look at this, this tells me that it could be someone coming back from your past. Maybe their intention is to disrupt everything that you've got going on, things that you're working towards right now. Or it could be that maybe there was some stuff that just wasn't finished between you two, and this person shows up in some way, shape, or form. You guys kind of either have a conversation or maybe even an argument, and there's some emotional hurt still here. Now, the curious thing, and I guess you'll have to answer this for yourself, Sagittarius, is this situation something that could affect you financially? Is it someone from your past who owes you money? Is it someone from your past, maybe even an old job that you've kind of been at odds with, back and forth with, and it's been an emotional, heavy burden? Is this someone from your family who's showing up again and who's trying to drain you of your resources and your finances? You know, whatever it is, it's something that's very heavy on your heart, and you're going to be feeling that a lot in the first week of June. Now, this doesn't have to necessarily be the case for every Sagittarius out there, but I do want to say pay attention to things that are showing up from your past as we move into the new month of June, because it looks like there's some unfinished emotional business that needs to be dealt with, excuse me, so you can clean the slate and move forward once and for all. You know, but I don't want you to get scared or worried or apprehensive feeling about this. Sometimes these things show up just as reminders and just as things that we need to pay attention to. And sometimes things like this show up because there's something that's unresolved. And if we don't deal with it now, it can cause a bigger problem later on. Okay, so let's see what else we need to know for the sign of Sagittarius as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of June 2020. What else do we need to know for the sign of Sagittarius? Okay, Sagittarius. The good thing is that you do have some really big life changes that are happening. And I think that's going to affect your money in a very positive way. And you're also going to have to kind of make some decisions as far as what you're going to do and how you're going to delegate your finances and your spending in the coming weeks. Now we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Wands upright, Death upright, Two of Pentacles reversed, then we've got the Judgment card. Knight of Pentacles in reverse tells me that you're really going to be moving on in your own way. You're going to be very, very independent. You're also going to be having to make some money decisions on your own. You're not going to really have any input or support from people around you. And it's not because they don't care, but it's because they've got their own issues they're dealing with. So you're going to have to really be, the word prudent comes to mind, but you're going to have to be really, really studious, really on top of the money. You know, pay attention, because basically everything's falling onto your shoulders, and you're the one that has to make the decision and has to delegate and has to budget. It has to, you know, decide what money goes where and when and in what amount. And so you're not going to be getting a lot of support maybe from a spouse or a partner, or maybe from advisors or something like that. Just know that you're going to be having to do a lot of money things on your own. And that might be okay for you, Sagittarius, because maybe, that is one of the ways that you thrive, is really kind of working alone and making decisions on your own and just kind of working through them as things progress. Now we have the Two of Wands, then we have the Death card upright. Now the Death card upright is very positive. This is talking about a life transformation. It's talking about literally putting something to rest because something new is being, put in its place. Excuse me. There is something that you are letting go, something that is being literally, I don't know if killed would be the right word, but maybe that's what it is, because that's the word that's coming to me. But yeah, you're going to have some type of a life transforming change. And this is good because I have a feeling it's really going to affect your money life in a big, powerful way. Once you kind of work through the issues that you go through in the first week, it looks like as we reach that second week of June, you really start to get empowered and you really start to have a lot more clarity as far as what you want and how you're going to make things happen. Now, we talk about the Two of Wands here. This is about you kind of reevaluating what you've been doing up until this point. And you are ready for a change. You are ready to do something different. This could be something professionally. This could also be something in the personal realm. But whatever it is, it's something that does directly affect your finances. Now, I think that this is going to impact you rather quickly once we get into the second week of June, because we do have the Two of Pentacles here in the reverse. This means you're no longer balancing the finances. You're no longer robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's like you finally have enough money to kind of get things very solvent and very stable, and you're feeling like you really have a lot more fluidity as it relates to your money. Things are flowing, things are happening, bills are getting paid. Maybe you're starting to stash money away. Maybe you even have a little bit more to put aside for investing or future spending or something along those lines. So just know that this big change that's happening, it's definitely going to impact your finances in a positive way. Next up, we have the Judgment card. This is a decision being made in your favor. And it's interesting because this Judgment card fell onto the Tower and the Three of Swords. So if this is something, I want to say court related, if you have an issue, like let's say it's with a maybe an ex-spouse or somebody that you have some type of a legal thing with, just know that if that is the case, it looks like there is a decision being made in your favor. And this is going to allow you to kind of start anew, have a brand new, fresh beginning without having all these old emotional ties weighing you down. Now, even if it's not something court related here, we could have a decision that you make that benefits you and everyone involved. Maybe you decide once and for all that you're done with this situation or this person or this company or this partnership, whatever it is, and you're not allowing it to, have that emotional stronghold on you. It's like you're ready to let go. You're ready to kind of release everything you have to release because you've decided that you're doing this for yourself for the better. But let's go ahead and clarify some more, Sagittarius. So, what else do we need to know for the sign of Sagittarius? As it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of June 2020. Now this is really cool because we've got some repeater cards here. This tells me that this kind of underlying energy for you, Sagittarius, for the month of June is definitely going to be something that's consistent, meaning once you kind of get past that first week, things will not be as chaotic. They won't be so up and down, back and forth, all over the place. Things will just kind of either stay steady or it will kind of fall into a familiar rhythm. And we'll probably have to go more into that once we just kind of go over these cards here that just showed up. Ace of Cups, you've got a brand new start here, a brand new relationship. It could be something of a passion project. It could be a creative endeavor. But whatever it is, it's something positive, and it's something that really sets your heart and your soul on fire. We also have the King of Pentacles here. This is all about financial literacy. A lot of times, too, it's about someone who makes very strong decisions as it relates to money and finances. And I think that's something we talked about here, because here, you're making the decisions on your own. You're not getting input from other people, but you also have the competency to do that. You're not worried about, not being familiar with money right now, or if you are, maybe not as knowledgeable about something as it relates to finances. You do the work, you do the research to find out what you need. You are very well educated when it comes to your money and how it applies to your life. Also, the Eight of Pentacles talks about that work is going to be increasing for you once we hit the second half of June. You are going to see that there's going to be an increase in your workflow. There could also be an increase in just money flow as well. Maybe you get a lot of pre-orders, a lot of clients coming in. You could have maybe people just kind of piling up the work on you, and it definitely keeps you busy. Next, we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is all about eliminating the unnecessary. She's got this very determined energy to remove the things that are not working. She doesn't waste time. She doesn't waste energy. She doesn't waste effort. She doesn't waste her attention on things that just don't need to be in her existence. And I have a feeling, Sagittarius, that you're going to be going through those same moments where you're cutting things away, you're purging, you're letting things go, you're removing people and circumstances that just don't serve you and that are not benefiting you. Now, this is nothing bad. This is nothing to feel guilty about. Sometimes you really do just have to cut people off for your own good. Finally, we've got the Four of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. Now, we saw those same cards here, which is, I find that really interesting, because not only did they show up repeatedly, but they showed up repeatedly together in the same order. This one first, then this one. The only thing is that this time we've got these two cards in the reverse position. Now, this is good because the reverse of Pentacles talks about that you're not going to be so tight-fisted as it relates to your money. And I think we talked about that here, because this is kind of the card saying the same thing, is that you finally get a hold of your finances and you don't feel like you have to hoard anything. You're not feeling like you have to be cheap about anything. You can relax because money's coming in. You can feel a lot more confident that you are having increase and you have the income that you desire. Now, we have the Nine of Cups here, the Nine of Cups in reverse. Now, this is one of the most positive cards in the deck. Even when he shows up in the reverse position, it's still a very, very good card. This is the ultimate wish card. This means your wish is on the way. However, maybe it's a little bit slow. Maybe it's not going to be to the degree that you would like it to be, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. Or maybe it's just showing up in an entirely different form than what you expect. Whatever the case may be, just know that once we hit that third week of June, you can start looking forward to your wish coming true in some way. All right, Sagittarius. What else do we need to know for our Sagittarius as it relates to money, wealth, finances, prosperity, and abundance for the month of June 2020? Nice, Sagittarius. I can see overall that the month of June is going to be a lot of healing for you. It's also going to be a lot of clearing the way, clearing the path. We have Seven of Pentacles. Then we have the King of Cups reverse, Star card upright. We also have Empress upright, Hangman upright, and then we have the Ten of Swords in the reverse. Now, the Seven of Pentacles here, this talks about you being a little ambivalent as far as your work goes. Not that you love your job, but you don't hate it either. It's one of those things where you're just like, this is okay. This is okay for now. It may not be my forever career. It may not be my forever home, but it's something I'm doing right now to kind of keep myself steady, afloat, surviving. But just know that those feelings are temporary and they are entirely normal. It has nothing to do with you being locked into something, which, I think we're going to cover here with the Hangman. But the Seven of Pentacles, it just talks about kind of things being, it's kind of like taking the responsible path. And sometimes that can be boring. Sometimes it could be a little monotonous. But sometimes it's what we have to do just for the time being in order to get us to that place that we want to elevate to. Next, we have the King of Cups here in the reverse. The King of Cups in the reverse position talks about you having a hold of your emotions. You're not getting emotionally overwhelmed. You're also not allowing your emotions to override your logical thinking. Now, sometimes we can become hypersensitive and we can become overly emotional, especially when it comes to areas related to finance and money. And I'm seeing this in the reverse. That tells me you may have had periods of that temporarily here and there, Sagittarius, but you're working through it. You're starting to get emotionally mature. You also have emotional intelligence that really carries you a long way. It's one of those things where you don't have to react to every little thing that happens. It's also something very clear in the sense that you don't even feel everything as something that has to be internalized. It's like, things happen, things are disappointing, things are good. But you just kind of maintain this steady emotional state, and that really allows you to have a clear head when you're making decisions and when you're doing things that are related to your money and your finances. Next, we have the Star card here. Now, another one of the most positive cards in the deck. Now, this is interesting because I'm feeling like this has something to do with a celebrity. It has something with you being in the spotlight, Sagittarius. I know not every Sagittarius, wants to be, on center stage. But for those of you who are extroverts, or for those of you who are working on putting yourselves out there, just know that you're going to get some positive feedback as it relates to that. Show up for yourself. Post what you're doing on social media, share your video, if you have an opportunity to be on TV or in a magazine or anything of that nature, take it, because it's definitely going to be a turning point for you in your career. Now, if that's not the case, if this is not about celebrity or being in the spotlight, the Star card also is the card of good health. It means that you are vibrant, you are shining, you are clean, clear, and bright. You are definitely someone who is putting their health as a priority, and you're living in a very holistic way. A lot of times when I have clients who are regenerating, from a health challenge, this card will show up because it's a card that talks about health and just being vibrant and just living in the best possible way. Now, we also have the Empress here. This is another good card because it means the start of a new creation, a new, growth of something. Something is being birthed. Now, sometimes this card shows up as a pregnancy, maternity card, but a lot of times as it relates to money, it means that your money is growing, or you are being involved in a project that is constantly growing. There is growth. There is expansion coming your way. This is very, very good, especially as you look at finances and as you look at investments and as you look at decisions that are being made as it relates to your money. The Empress is a beautiful card. Now, we also have the Hangman here, and then we have the Ten of Swords. Now, you may be feeling a little stuck temporarily, but just know that that's not a long-term thing. I think this kind of goes back to this card here, where you may have to be doing a job you're not excited about, or you may have to be doing some things just right now while we're kind of getting through and while we're trying to work things out. Just know that this is only temporary. It's not the final situation. It's not the final, decision as it relates to your work, your career, or your business. And just know that you will eventually move on, but sometimes you just gonna have to deal with circumstances as they are right now. And this Ten of Swords, this is all about healing from being emotionally betrayed. This is very good when it shows up in the reverse, because it means that you are no longer harboring resentment. You probably are moving towards a state of forgiveness, or you are in a state of forgiveness by the time we reach the end of June. This means emotional healing. It means letting go of things that could have been painful emotional triggers. And the good thing about this is that it's not something that affects you or influences you anymore, especially as it relates to work, money, finances. You just kind of realize that this is something that doesn't serve me, and I've decided to process it, let it go, and move on. So overall, Sagittarius, like I said, you've got a very, interesting month. Things really start to stabilize once we hit the second half of June. You may feel, like I said, a little bit of, chaotic, stuff, emotional stuff going on, but it does sort itself out as we move through the month of June, and you're going to be, very, very well, especially once we hit the end of June. You've just got so many good things coming. I hope you're ready and I hope you're prepared for it. All right, Sagittarius, let's go ahead and close out your reading with a Spirit Animal Oracle card. Interesting. We've got the hummingbird. Hummingbird Spirit, be here now. This is a beautiful card. This is all about living in the present moment. It's also a card about really just focusing on what you're creating at the time that you're creating it, and not getting distracted, and also not wallowing in the past or kind of being disillusioned by the future. So I think this is something good to remember. And I also think it's a good reminder, like I said, just to stay present in this moment and know that things are always happening for your greater good. All right, Sagittarius, well, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it was helpful. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, or observations, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. And if you would like to connect with me for a private reading, I will have that information listed for you in the description as well. All right, Sagittarius, thank you so much. We'll do this all again next month.